The 2026 NFL Draft is just a couple short weeks away, and even though the Atlanta Falcons do not have a first-round draft pick this year and just 5 picks overall, that doesn't mean we can't have a little mock draft fun. I'm Tori McElhaney, joined by Dave Archer here in Ticketmaster Studios, and we've got a very fun exercise that we're going to go through with you today, something a little different from what we've ever done before. Arch, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay?
I feel good, yeah.
Okay.
We did some player breakdowns here that are going to start coming out on AtlantaFalcons.com, some positions we feel like might affect the Falcons in the draft. And so I think I'm dialed in, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. So here's how this is going to work. For each of the Falcons' 5 picks, I'm going to give you a few players to choose from. You'll kind of be acting as our stand-in GM. Okay. So get your Ian Cunningham hat on.
Right.
So think of this as draft night. You've got your big board, a few players that you're targeting with the pick at hand. Maybe all different positions that you've got going on. That, and you've got to weigh your options in a very short amount of time to decide what your roster really needs.
So you're going to put me on the clock?
I sure am.
Okay.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, well, you know, it's not going to be as easy as this seems because I'm throwing in a little twist into this show. When I present the players for you to pick, you'll be doing it without knowing exactly who each player actually is.
What?
Yes, yeah.
So I'm truly flying blind. That's blind mock. That's exactly right.
Exactly. You'll get position, height, weight. I may throw in a little bit of like some notable accolades for you, but that's it. No names, just silhouettes.
Well, that just got very interesting right there now.
Exactly. So that's why we're calling this, yes, the blind mock draft. So I hope that you're excited.
Oh, I'm ready.
But tell me a little bit as we're going through the 5 picks that we're going to go through today. And obviously, Ian Cunningham has said that he wants more than 5, but we'll see how that shakes out on actual draft weekend. But when we look at what we're doing today with this exercise, and you know you're going to have 5 picks, if you're Ian Cunningham, what are you hoping to get out of these 5 picks? Let's say in the next 30 minutes when we're all said and done and your picks are made, what do you want these 5 picks to represent?
Yeah, certainly you're looking for production, right? You want guys that are going to be able to come in and contribute. Now, a lot of times we know rookies don't necessarily come in and contribute on offense and defense as a starter, but they could be a rotational guy, and we'll get to some of that maybe in one of these picks. But they also can contribute on special teams. A lot of these guys are core special teams players that can help us win a football game. The Lord knows that you got to be able to dial into that third phase of the game, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for guys that are going to contribute and add to what we potentially have. As far as attacking one side of the ball or the other, I'm kind of leaning into the defensive side of football in my mind. I'd like to attack a couple of our weaknesses if you provide me a guy that can get that done.
I mean, that's the thing here is you don't know how the draft board is going to actually fall on draft night, which is why we're doing this whole exercise to begin with. So let's get into the 2nd round pick. Again, Falcons don't have a 1st round pick, but number 48 overall in the 2nd round. Here are some of the options that I have for you. I want to start over there. I know you said defensive heavy, but I want to start over here because player 1 is an offensive tackle. He's 6'6", 313, big body. He's been primarily a left tackle at the college level. Something that's really interesting about this guy, and I know that we are kind of still reeling from the news of Caleb McGarry announcing his retirement literally in the last few days. So this guy is really interesting because he played in 12 games in 2025, but more importantly, he only allowed 2 sacks over 1,600 career snaps at his university. Awesome. So that's who I've got for you here, over here. Player number 1.
How did he get out of the 1st round?
Great question. He does. There are a lot of guys who have him, a lot of these draft experts have him as a late 1st round option. But there are some that have him kind of skirting into the early second round.
This is a pretty deep position as well, right? The
100%.
Offensive tackle, offensive line position. So you could get an unbelievably good player in that 2nd round, no question. Now
moving to player 2, it's another offensive guy. I'm really kind of trying to tempt you to lean a little bit offensively, but this is a wide receiver. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. He's primarily a slot guy. Very versatile in the slot because of the speed that he has. He has played in 14 games overall in 2025, 81 receptions on 93 targets for 811 yards and 6 touchdowns, averaging about 10 yards per catch. But what is really interesting about this guy, his quick area speed, his quick feet. That's something that everyone is talking about with this guy, and he actually has a kind of like true 2nd round grade.
make you miss in a phone booth type guy.
100%.
Return abilities, some return abilities here as well?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that you could have that upside with him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just want to try to dial in what he's going to give us.
I mean, because like what you said, when you're looking at some of these day 2, day 3 picks, you're looking for that versatility with special teams. So I absolutely get it. Now this third player right here, defensive tackle. And I know, I can see that smile. I can see the look on Arch's face. So he's like, all right, this is what we're looking at here. But this is a guy who I have been very, very high on because I'm like you. I absolutely love a defensive tackle in the second round for the Atlanta Falcons because of the guys who are going to be there around pick 48. Now, this guy is a little bit interesting because he's similar to this offensive tackle over here where he really does have a first-round grade. But in this scenario, we're kind of playing a little bit of devil's advocate. Maybe he slides down into the second round. He's a nose tackle. He's 326, 6'2". Big dude. His most dominant skill set, his most dominant area is against the run, which I feel like should be music to your ears and Jeff Ulbricht's ears because, as we know, that's an area that this defense wants to take a next step in. So what do you think about this defensive tackle?
Yeah, and I lit up when I saw you included a defensive tackle because this is another group that is potentially a little deeper than some of the other position groups. And they're being pushed back because of maybe some of the offensive line depth, some of the things that are going on at wide receiver or linebacker that are shoving some of these guys back. So you're going to end up with, as Tori said, a first-round graded guy may slide back into that middle of the second round. Very intrigued with this guy. Love the size, too. I can't wait to we'll see.
I mean, okay, so I've given you 3 options. Second round, pick 48. Who are you going with? Okay,
so real quickly, obviously, as a quarterback, love this guy right here, right? I mean, the ability to make plays, short area quickness, the short throws, maybe even if you talked about slot jet sweep type stuff, all those kind of things. The McGarry thing has me a little perplexed because offensive tackle, and this is a guy that has a lot of accolades. You mentioned, no sacks and 1,600 snaps or something like that?
Over 1,600 snaps.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
But what I'm going to lean into is the defensive tackle here. I really like the defensive tackle. I love the size. And I'll tell you why. We were 24th in the league against the run last year. Everybody talks about how we got after the passer, 55, 57 sacks, something like that, which was a team record. We did really good in the back end, took the ball away, 23 takeaways a year ago. What we didn't do was we didn't plug the run very well, and you know that there's going to be some changes probably at that second level as well at the linebacker spot. With David Onyemata gone, some of the guys we lost in free agency, a plug-and-play guy at the defensive tackle position. Tori, I'm going to take the defensive tackle with the number 2 pick.
All right, well, look who it is. We've got an Ohio State grad, Caden McDonald up here. Are you excited about this?
I am. If I'm not mistaken, he was an All-American, wasn't he?
A unanimous All-American. And not just that, going to what you were talking about, yes, he's a unanimous All-American, Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, first team All-Big Ten this past year. But what I really love, he has a run defense grade of 91.2.
There's what we're talking about.
So
we're talking about a guy that can come up and plug the run, get the big mitt in the air, and do it just enough damage in the pass game. But his ability to create problems in the interior for run blocking. And sometimes you're not making the play. You see him make the tackle, Tori, in the game against Michigan State. But what he is doing is look at him eat up the blocks, which also provides room for the Divine Diablos of the world to flow and make plays, right?
I mean, I love it. And something that's really interesting, I like looking at player comps a lot, and I have one for pretty much everybody that we're going to talk about today. Kenneth Grant of the Dolphins and Jordan Phillips of the Bills. That's who his player comps are.
Well, I don't know that he'd prefer to be compared to a guy that went to Michigan, but Kenneth Grant. But no, that's a disruptive guy. You can see his point of attack force, his ability to drive the one-on-one blocker back in the backfield. That's all problems for teams that want a gap scheme and are trying to pull linemen. All of a sudden you get a lineman driven in the backfield, blows up run schemes. I love this guy. I can't believe we ended up with a guy that was off a team that won the national championship 2 years ago. I love it.
It's because those Ohio State guys, they're all up and down that first round. So this is someone who kind of just sneaks on through despite the fact that he's over 320 pounds.
Love that, 326.
Before we move on to the third round, I do want to say that a lot of kind of just like the overall draft experts are what they're thinking about McDonald. There are a lot of people who really like him in the first round. So it's kind of like again, to your point, it's a bit surprising that he's here at 48. But if I'm Ian Cunningham in the room and I see Caden McDonald sitting right there, I'm like, why not?
Let's go.
Why not? Like, so overall.
Well, that's what I did. Let's go.
Right, yeah. Overall, there are some draft experts that are saying that he'll require a bit more time to kind of develop his pass rush identity, but I personally think that's okay because of what he provides in run stopping.
Yeah, and you're talking about a guy that's going to play in that A or B gap and probably eat up blocks, play over the center with a one technique sometimes. Guess what? The guy playing next to him is a guy named Brandon Dorlus at 8.5 sacks. I like that matchup.
Yeah, to your point, 448 total defensive snaps in 2025, more than half aligned in the B gap.
Okay, so he's that interior guy eating people up. Okay, I love it.
All right, so we have our first pick of the 2026 NFL Draft for the Atlanta Falcons defensive tackle. You got to love it. Now let's move to the third round. This is pick number 79, and I have a few interesting options for you. I actually went very heavy with some defensive guys because I wanted to throw you a bone because I knew I only gave you two. I gave you two offensive guys in the second round, but I kind of want to start over here. This player one, he is a center. He's 6'4", 310 pounds. He's actually originally from Kennesaw, Georgia. So local guy who may be at the may be here for the local pro day coming up very soon. He's only played, I will say this, he only played in 7 games in 2025 because of a torn ACL. So he is coming off of a pretty significant injury, but in terms of true center value, he's one of the best rated in the draft class. So I know that center isn't necessarily a top need. You still have Ryan Newsel coming back, but you do have to think about kind of the high-end level of being able to go get someone who has the level of experience that this guy specifically has.
And I like the size because he obviously could slide and maybe play some guard for you too. I know he played kind of exclusively at the center position, but remember, Ryan Newsel became Ryan Newsel because Drew Dahlman was injured. And that's why Ryan Newsel got a chance to play, and that's why Ryan Newsel ultimately was elevated to be your center. Now, Ryan he did a great job of staying healthy a year ago, but we know this is a battle of attrition. These guys are banging each other. So if you find a guy that you feel like a guy can plug in, makes some sense.
All right, let's move over because I got you an edge rusher. And I know that edge rusher is a little bit of an interesting piece right now because the Falcons did go out and get a few guys in free agency. You have Jalen Walker returning. This guy, 6'3", 240 pounds. He is a pure edge guy. That is 100% who he is through and through. 14 games played in 2025, but 16 sacks over 3 seasons. He had 9 in 2025. So this is a guy who's on an upward trajectory in terms of his overall production. What do you think about an edge rusher here in the third round?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously know what's going on with the team in that particular position, so we don't need to dive into that. But we did add some guys that I think from a veteran standpoint come in here and can play at this level. I don't know, and here's the part I don't know about him, is when you start talking about edge player in Ulbricht's defense, is the versatility to be able to drop into coverage and do some of those things. Obviously, you love the fact that he could rush the passer over 9 sacks this last season. So I'm intrigued with this guy, but I think I'm a little in the weeds because I'm not sure what we're getting.
Right. So I'll give you a little bit more information here just to kind of build him out a little bit. He has a pass rush grade of 92.6.
Wow.
So kind of this ready-made guy coming off of the edge in terms of getting after the quarterback. Run defense 65.6 though. So you have a little bit of a difference in who he is versus the run versus the pass. He's a guy who's, I think, ready to get after the quarterback, but has some growth that he still needs to do.
So maybe a pass rush specialist that's subbed in from time to time to play.
There you go.
Okay, I got you.
So there's your edge rusher. Now I've got a cornerback, and cornerback is one of the positions that I was actually talking to Ian Cunningham recently at owners meetings, and I kind of asked, where's the depth in this draft class? And he said safety, corner, and defensive end. That's where he sees a run of depth happening into day 2 and day 3. So this guy, this cornerback, he's 6'2", 189 pounds. He's kind of your prototypical outside guy.
Okay.
I think that when you're thinking about what happens at the corner position, I know you still have Mike Hughes on this team, but you got to think about a day and age where maybe you don't have him. He is on the last year of his deal. A.J. Terrell is locked in for a long time. Can you find a running mate for A.J. Terrell? That's something that we've been talking about so much since A.J. Terrell stepped foot in this facility. So what do you like about a cornerback in the third round?
Yeah, well, the first thing that jumps out at me is his length. He's 6'2", obviously the 190 pounds, 189 pounds is fine at a corner position, but I love the length. That obviously is going to tell me at 6'2", he's got the long arms. He's a guy that can come up and play press. He's going to disrupt receivers on the outside. We know this era of pro football, you got some gigantic guys that probably used to play tight end that are playing outside that you have to defend. So 6'2" is a great size, a little bit like what we see with A.J. Terrell. A.J.'s got that size and length to him. Plus, it also provides you a little bit of versatility now. Let's not forget that Mike Hughes, he slid inside some. He can play inside. We know Billy Bowman's coming off an injury. There's some other guys obviously on the depth chart, but guys that played for you last year that you might be able to maybe mix and match. And if this kid could come in and potentially play the corner spot and Hughes slide inside, gives you some versatility there should Billy Bowman not be available.
I love it. Some more information on this cornerback. He has a man coverage grade of 80. He has a zone coverage grade of 70.3.
Okay.
So no drop off. Okay. He's pretty consistent across the board. Okay. So as you're looking at what I've given you here, Arch, I've given you a center, an edge, and a corner. What are you thinking? Yeah,
I think I'm going to lean into the corner.
Okay.
I'd like to see the corner. I think that when you get a guy that has this kind of size, wow, are you kidding me?
I know.
We go back to Ohio State?
We're right. And honestly, guys, like Arch didn't know who any of these guys were. So, yeah, you've got two Ohio State guys that are now coming to Atlanta, Georgia. This is Davison Igbinosun. He is a prototypical kind of outside corner for size and speed, as we talked about before. He's really long, he's lanky, he has speed and a good competitive edge to him as we've seen him at Ohio State. He played in 14 games last year. He was targeted 46 times, allowing just 22 receptions for 207 yards. Didn't give up a single touchdown in 2025. That's huge for this guy.
So that's about 45 to 47% completion percentage. Against this kid on the outside. Let's take a look at him. Here's some highlights. And look at him break on the hitch route to the outside. That's a cool receiver that he just defended. Is going to get drafted. Here he is again squatting on the outside. What you love to look for is that plant and drive. Okay, he definitely has the size, but here he is off coverage. Okay, how quickly can he rally up and make the tackle? Makes a tackle there again, an off coverage. Certainly has the length and ability to get up and play in a guy's face. But I love the way he wants to come up, hit, and make tackles. So the length here is a big deal, and I think that he fits exactly what Ulbricht's looking for from the outside.
First team All Big Ten guy in 2025. He's somebody who I really like. Only had 2 interceptions last year, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, when you're only getting thrown at 47 times the whole year, and they only completed 22, I'm not throwing it over there either. I played that position.
Player comp. Tyson Campbell with the Browns.
Former Georgia Bulldog.
Former Georgia Bulldog, as I know pretty well. So I'm excited.
And that length too. See, he's got the long arms. Those are kind of things that when you get contested catches like the 50-50 ball down the field, if you got the size that he's got, he's going to be able to get that ball out.
I think too, just his size, he has some speed that is a little bit under the radar. He ran a 4.45 40
that's
at the
fine.
combine. Like for his length, I'm like, that's great. Love that.
What is this? What's like the 10-yard split? There's a 10-yard closing speed.
1.58 seconds.
Yeah, that's high level stuff. If he's closing that quickly, which we just saw in that tape, this kid fits in exactly what we want.
That, and I think he's going to be right there for the taking around that pick 79 in the third round, which we're in right now. A lot of people have him as a mid-third round, early fourth round type of guy.
Okay.
So that's what I've got for you.
How
are you feeling?
I like it. Well, I love
so far?
I love it. I had no idea I was going to pick the entire Ohio State defense, but we're good.
Well, knowing how many of them are actually in this draft class, it's honestly not too surprising.
Not bad, because they were pretty good 2 years ago defensively. I think the best defense in the country.
100%. So fourth round, you ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we've got a defensive tackle and we've got a cornerback, but we're moving now to the fourth round. Pick 122. I want to start over here. I know you just took a defensive tackle with the second round pick that you had. I'm giving you another one because I think that there is room to continue to grow in the interior. You can never have too many guys at the line of scrimmage.
It's a rotation in there too. Those guys are playing, 40 to 50 snaps, 30 to 50 snaps, something like that. You got to have guys who can rotate in.
Yeah. So this is a defensive tackle. He's a kind of 3-tech guy. Okay. He's projected 4th round, so right in the mix right through here. He's 6'2", 291. He played in 13 games, had 9 sacks and 26 hurries last year alone. 9
sacks in the defensive tackle spot.
Yeah, so he has a pass rush grade of 90.4. His run defense is a little, you want to maybe up a little bit more, 74.2.
Okay, that's not bad.
But I don't think I think that in the grand scheme of things, someone who has 9 sacks in one singular year as a D tackle, I'm pretty cool with that.
Yeah, I am too.
So what do you think about taking a D tackle?
Well, you hit on it. Are you going to have enough rotational people? And obviously they're going to add to the roster, and we've already added to the roster in free agency, and we've got guys returning from last year's team. But that defensive tackle position, you can't have enough of those guys. Just like they talk about, you can't have enough corners. You can't have enough guys that can get after the passer and also swell up and defend the run.
So I know you passed on a receiver in the 2nd round, which I get. I understand. When you had a D tackle like the one we had in Katie McDonald up there, I 100% get it. So I'm going back to the
I love the receiver, though, by the way, but I had to go D tackle.
I know you did. I did too. But I'm going back to receiver land for a quick second. Okay. This is a guy who's 6'2". He's 202. He's a traditional, in college, he's more of an outside X receiver. Outside but he has the ability. We know Drake London loves to kind of be that big slot guy. And he has so much of success as that type of player. This is someone who kind of has shades of that as he transitions into his professional game. He kind of does project as a big slot guy who can kind of rely on the toughness that he's shown in college to be somebody in the NFL. Something that I really like about him too. 13 games played, 50 receptions on 67 targets for 557 yards and 7 touchdowns. Again, not very many offensive snaps for him, 334 total, 46 from the slot, even though we're talking about him being a big slot, 280 out wide, but his contested catch rate, this is the one that I want, 64.7%.
Yeah, he's winning. He's winning 2/3 of the time when the ball comes his way in a 50-50 ball situation. Love the size, 6'2". The thing that jumps out at me a little bit is, okay, when Drake got banged up last year, we had to kind of move Kyle around to make Kyle fill that spot. Do you have another guy, same body size, similar technique, or similar talents that could potentially do that? And then all of a sudden, you put this guy on the field with Drake. I mean, that'd be kind of fun too. So that's very intriguing there.
Okay. I'm throwing another edge rusher at you with player 3. I know that we kind of skipped over the guy in the 3rd round for a corner, which I also got. We're on the same page, you and I, Arch. I can honestly understand all of it. But I'm giving you another guy because this is another pure edge guy, projected 4th round guy, 6'2", 247, pretty much in a good area. 12 games played in 2025, 12 sacks over 3 years, 8 last season. Okay. So he kind of had his...
He's blossoming.
He had his more, I would say, kind of his breakout year was in 2024 and just kind of sustained in 2025. But what I like about him, his production against the run grew significantly in 2025. I thought that he for me personally, he only has a run defense grade of 68.8, but it was pretty low the year before. So you're seeing someone who's growing and maturing in his tackling ability, in his ability to get off of blocks. So I really like this guy as a project, as a 4th round project, someone that you go out and you're like, he's probably not going to be a starter day 1. This is someone who could grow into something.
Yeah, and think about the athleticism you just mentioned, his ability to get off the pass just last year. I talked about the 3rd phase of the game, and you're talking about a guy if it goes in this round, there's probably going to be a core special teams player should he make this football team. And you've got a guy at 6'2", 275 pounds that can run down, cover kicks, change direction like he does when he rushes the passer. That's a huge bonus to that special teams unit. So that adds some intrigue to not only what he does in the defensive side of the football. And remember, Jeff Ulbrich told us that, I'm looking for guys, everybody loves these jack of all trades, masters of none. This guy has obviously started to come into his own as far as mastering the defensive end position, as far as rushing the passer. That's something to keep in mind as well.
All right, defensive tackle, wide receiver, edge rusher, 4th round. Where are you going?
Yeah, and I want to find a guy, like I just talked about, that can affect things across the board from an athleticism standpoint. Love both these guys. I'm going to go wide receiver right here.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to take the wide receiver. Who we got?
C.J. Daniels, Miami.
Oh, we're going to go to the U. I like it.
Your thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I love, like I said, I love his size. Having watched him play, he has all those skill set that we talked about. The ability to go get the 50-50 ball. I think he's much more attuned to being able to rock inside than they used him for. Here he makes a play. He actually makes a play in the slot. How about that catch? Here he is outside, wide. Watch just to be able to step on the toes of the corner, get deep on the post, then make the catch in the 50-50 ball situation. This is what you're looking at. Here he is against press coverage. Because of his size, corners are probably a little worried about it. I look at him go get the ball with a guy draped all over him. Here's another. We'll get one more. How about the little move there? Short area quickness with the little post move to the inside. Wins against Florida State on the post. I love it.
Yeah. Again, contested catch rate, 64.7%. We're seeing it all over his film, all over his tape of being very physical at the point of attack. I love that. I love a guy who doesn't shy away.
Well, and here he is on a tunnel screen. I mean, you're thinking, okay, long receivers got to be down the field to make a play. Here he comes back inside on a short area play, wins. How about the movement, the little movement on the little slant there on the goal line? Oh, I love this pick.
Yeah. Okay, so his player comp, Luke McCaffrey from the Washington Commanders, Kevin Austin Jr. from the Saints.
Okay.
Those are two guys that I think are pretty good.
Yeah, and you drive receiver ones in the building. You may have gotten wide receiver 2 in free agency.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you look up, and now this wide receiver room, you added 2 in free agency. You had a couple guys coming back you're really excited about that were on the roster last year. You had this guy in a 4th round selection. Wow,
yeah.
That's a steal.
Not too bad. All right, we're moving now to the 6th round. We don't have a 5th round pick.
Okay.
Of course, we know that, but we're moving to the 6th round pick, number 215. Got some interesting looks for you here. I want to start over here with player 1.
Okay.
Linebacker. Kind of more of a box guy. Played in the box, traditional, 6'2", 323. Something, though, Arch, that I've got to tell you about this guy. He was a first-team All-MAC 2024, 2025.
Okay. MAC conference,
yep. Holds the NCAA record for forced fumbles in a career. You want to guess how many he had in his career?
Well, we heard that the guy, a guy that's going to go early on, maybe even go in the 1st round in Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, he had, I think, 13 in his career. So if this guy has the most in his career, I'll go 15.
17.
17
forced fumbles in his career. He's a ball magnet. The forced fumbles this season alone, 7.
Love that.
So I really like this linebacker over here. As someone who's now been impartial to linebackers in this draft since Caden Ellis now has gone back to the Saints, I really like this linebacker. I'm not going to tell you what to do, Arch, but player 1 is very high on my list.
On your list, okay.
But I don't want to, I don't want to take the shine away from some other people. Okay, stick with me here as I kind of give you something to think about. I know the Falcons are totally fine at tight end. You have Kyle Pitts on the franchise tag. You have Austin Hooper coming back, Charlie Warner. You're pretty good. You have you have guys with a lot of different skill sets. But in the 6th round, I think you're kind of looking for best player available a little bit. And this is a guy, this tight end, who's 6'5", 245 pounds. He's actually someone who fell pretty significantly in the draft. So that's why I have him here, is because there are some people who have him as a projected like late 3rd, early 4th.
Wow, okay.
Here we are in the 6th round. He's still available. Maybe something came up. Maybe there are people who aren't valuing the tight end as highly as what maybe we're thinking going in. So 6'5", 245. He has 322 total offensive snaps, receiving grade of 60.3, drop rate of 4.8, contested catch of 25%. So not like big receiving numbers, but he played in 14 games, 20 catches off of 28 targets for 261 yards and 1 touchdown. His run block grade, 59.4. Okay. So he's kind of just this traditional guy. Yeah. He comes from a good program, I'll tell you that. I don't want to throw it out there too quickly. But he's someone who I think there are a lot of people who are valuing high, but has dropped down to the 6th round. Again,
you're looking at the value he brings to the 3rd phase of the game as well. Obviously, Tori just talked about the tight end depth that you're potentially going to come into the season with. You love that. But a young guy that can come in and learn from those guys and how to play that position at this level, but then also be able to come in and do the athletic stuff that you're going to do on special teams. That's an interesting maybe look there in the 6th round.
So moving on to player 3, I know we just took a cornerback in the 3rd round, but this is a guy who I find to be pretty interesting. I really put him here in case you didn't go with the other cornerback, and I was like, hopefully, I know, I did. I was like, surely we'll get to a cornerback by this point in time, so I'm glad we did. But I want to give you this option too. He's 6'1", 180 pounds, outside zone corner is what he is. He's projected as a 5th rounder. So this is also somebody who has kind of slid down in the draft, maybe gotten lost a little bit with some of the other corners who are predominantly taking up a lot of the early day 3 looks. 2025 season highlights: 13 games played, targeted 61 times, only allowing 30 catches for 400 yards, gave up 4 touchdowns, but had 5 interceptions. So kind of big risk, big reward kind of guy. Overall, he's kind of got a coverage grade of 81.2.
That's good.
Yeah, so I really like this guy. I think it's a good, like, bang for your buck pick in the 6th round.
Well, I love the size. Again, he has 6'1", he's long. So that's certainly you got to take into consideration. And again, the versatility that he can play on special teams as well.
All right, so linebacker, tight end, corner. I know where I'm going. Where are you going?
You had me at 17 forced fumbles.
I know I did.
The value of the football obviously is the key to the game. And can you get the ball out? If everybody could do it, everybody be getting the ball out. But you're talking about guys like Jesse Bates, the ability to get the ball out. And that's not something you try to teach it. They talk about punching out. You and I watch drills in practice, and they're stripping the football. But there's some guys that just have a knack for being able to get to the football and get the ball out. And I think this guy, in watching this tape, the range that he's got is probably a little bit better than I thought, because you talked box safety, but here he is flowing down the line, and he's making a play outside the numbers, okay? And I know that the back's getting up the field, but I love the fact that the guy does have a little bit more versatility than maybe I thought. And there he is in coverage, in the zone coverage, and he's going to drop the hammer. That's one of the reasons the ball's coming out. Ball takeaways, I love that. Buffalo?
Yeah, Red Murdoch from Buffalo. You want to know whose record for career forced fumbles he broke? It's another Buffalo grad.
Not Mack.
Khalil Mack. He broke Khalil Mack's record. Isn't that interesting? I love that.
It is. I love that. Okay, so to me, what are we, 6th round?
Yeah, 6th round,
We're talking 6th round linebacker. Yeah. You're talking about a guy who could be a core special teamer and the ability to potentially be on the field a good bit on defense.
My favorite thing that I read about this guy from The Beast on The Athletic, Dane Brugler: no need to know his number when watching film. Murdoch is the guy always around the ball. I love that.
What he's saying right there is he's a football player. And if there's anybody on this staff or anybody that I've gotten to know over the 22 years of doing Falcon football, Jeff Ulbrich wants football players.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what this guy is.
Plays with a lot of heart. I love it.
I love it.
Got a linebacker. Thank goodness you went with linebacker with this 6th round pick, 215, because if you didn't, I was going to walk off set.
Well, the little sparkle in your eye when you said 50 or 17 forced fumbles, I kind of got the nod there.
I was like, Arch, if you don't take this guy, we're leaving. The show's over.
No more eating Cunningham for me. I'm out of
here. Your privileges as a general manager revoked.
There you go.
All right, so we've got one more pick, number 5. I know the Falcons want a little bit more picks than just 5, but that's what we're doing for today. Arch, final pick, 7th round, number 231. You're looking for a guy who can really be a key depth guy for you.
Wow, 6'8".
Okay, yeah, so it pops out right off the screen. Player 1, an offensive tackle. I'm giving you another chance at an offensive tackle here, because I do think that we need to talk about kind of the tackle position because of Caleb McGarry's retirement. This guy, you're right, 6'8", 304 pounds. He's been predominantly a right tackle at his college. Projected 7th rounder, so he is where he's kind of meant to be in terms of projection. 12 games played, only gave two sacks in over 3 seasons where he was playing. So he's a really key protector.
That's pretty good.
For, I don't want to say the school that he went to because I feel like it'd give it away. But yeah, 611 total snaps in 2025, primarily at right tackle. Run block grade is 74.4. Pass block grade 69.7. So not too shabby.
No.
Don't hate that.
Love the numbers.
So when
Especially talking about 7th round now. You're talking about numbers.
What do you think about taking an offensive tackle at this point in time in the draft?
Yeah, and actually, we're because of what happened to us this week and really the uncertainty, and I think that the organization had an idea potentially of what was going on with Caleb McGarry, but we certainly didn't. And so now all of a sudden you look up, and I'm sure that there's a little bit of scrambling as well as far as what you think you want to do in the draft. But having a guy of this guy's ilk at this time might be a kind of a steal.
I mean, one of the things that came up about this guy is he has tools worth developing. That was something that a lot of, when I was reading over about all of these different guys, that was what stuck out to me.
Well, and that's what you're trying to do. You get a 7th round guy, you're probably not plug and playing, but you want a guy that could come in and play if he needed to. At 6'8", what is the wingspan on this dude?
Let me see if I have it here. 6 feet, 11.5-inch wingspan. That's what it is.
You're not going around. No wonder his pass rush grade was pretty good. You can't get around the guy. And if you do get around him, you're in Mississippi by the time you get around him.
I would still be running. Like, I would just nonstop running.
I love that.
Never get by him.
6'11" wingspan. My goodness.
Crazy.
Okay.
So let's move over. I'm giving you another corner, Arch.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Can't have enough corners.
Corner is, I really do believe when Ian Cunningham told me that corner, safety, defensive end, that there's a lot of depth here. I saw it. I absolutely saw it. That's why I'm giving you another corner.
I like it.
6'1", 190 pounds, outside zone corner. He's projected 7th round. 11 games played, allowed 30 catches off 63 targets, gave up only 1 touchdown, had 1 interception, passer rating of 72.3.
Okay.
I know we already have a pretty good corner that we went and got in the 3rd round in Davidson, but what do you think about this as a 7th round guy?
Well, again, you can't have enough guys to cover because for whatever reason, because of the wear and tear on those guys in the secondary, having to play, run, all the kind of things that go along with the athleticism, that piece, and then the physicality piece of coming up and having a tackle. Think about how much the game has become a horizontal passing game as much as it's been a vertical passing game. You have to come up and make tackles. And so if you're going to get guys banged up, guys are going to bang a shoulder up, they're going to bang a knee up or whatever. If you don't have guys to plug in and there's no drop off at the position, then you're in trouble. So you can't have enough good corners with some size.
I completely agree. Now, last guy for you.
Okay.
I'm trying again.
You're trying to give me an edge guy, aren't you?
I'm trying to give you another edge, Arch, because you're not biting at my edge rusher guys. And that's okay. I get it. I get the reasoning. This is a guy who, again, pure edge guy, 6'4", 240 pounds, 12 games played, 2 sacks, but had 9 through 3 seasons, but 6 in 2024. Kind of like our last guy, had a really good year in 2024 in terms of sack production that kind of waned in 25.
Well, they knew who he was. Then they started blocking him a little bit, right?
There you go. But still,
enough people coming around on the other side from him.
Yeah, they're like,
he was the focal point.
Exactly. 14 quarterback hurries in 2025. He did have, so his overall grade, I'll give you that. His pass rush grade was 72.6. So even though I'm talking about kind of a dip in production,
Still there.
But 64.3 overall grade, and that's kind of because his run defense is at 60.9.
Okay.
So kind of, again, more of a, has his tools in pass rush and needs some development in the run game.
Okay. Yeah, again, you love the fact that a big kid that can play athletically and play in some other spots, not just the edge. When you start drafting guys, I guarantee Ian Cunningham and Matt Ryan will be sitting there, and obviously Kevin Stefanski and this entire staff, all their scouting people, they're not looking at it just, okay, this guy's an edge player. They're talking about where else can we play him? What else can he do? So, and especially in this round, that's what you're looking for.
All right, offensive tackle, cornerback, edge. Are you finally going to bite at my edge rushers?
Because we signed a couple edge guys in free agency, and I think I'm going to pass on the edge guy.
That's all right.
The corner, I'm interested in the corner. When you said zone corner, that kind of pushed me away a little bit because I'm thinking, okay, Jeff wants to get after you. You're going to have to play some man coverage on the outside. Not that he can't.
I will say a very big difference in grades from his zone grade to his man grade.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, very high zone, lower
okay.
man. So you're on it.
Maybe he doesn't match what we're going to do. Doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Somebody will find a spot for him. I'm going offensive tackle, and this is a dude at 6'11", or with a 6'11" wingspan, 6'8". Where's he at? Penn State.
Penn State.
Okay, there you go. Penn State.
Nolan Rucci.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
He's got lineage in the league too, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
His father played in the National Football League, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. That's not on my paper, but I'll go look it up after this.
I'm fairly certain that you're going to find that his dad was a National Football League player.
Hey.
And so you got a little bit of lineage here. But when you begin to look at a guy out on the edge, it's probably one of the toughest positions to play that nobody really talks about is the offensive tackle position. But his ability, he's going to have to learn some of the things that you're going to have to get away with this level.
Right.
Because he played in the Big Ten, he's got a little bit of a jump start because we just drafted 2 guys from Ohio State. He knows how that feels and what that looks like, Michigan guys. So he's going to get a feel for that. You love to see him not only in the zone game, but you love to see him in the gap game too, because we're going to see some of that here as well.
So that was what I was going to point out to you, is that this is somebody who is coming from a pretty balanced system with Penn State in terms of gap and zone stuff. So this is someone who's coming in with, he's coming off of arguably his best year, which I think is always really good when you're getting a guy on the up and up again, on the trajectory that you want him to be. And he's also kind of doing some similar things that you would really need him to do here with the Atlanta Falcons and what Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Rees are wanting to incorporate more of with more of a balanced look.
And when you see the offensive tackles that'll come off the board in the first couple rounds, maybe the first 3 or 4 rounds of the draft, and you don't come off, that puts a chip squarely on your shoulder that, wait a minute. Why am I going in the 7th round? Why am I not up with those? I'm as good as those guys. So you love that, all of a sudden, that self-motivation that's provided for a guy that might have felt like he should have been gone earlier than he did.
So this is, again, I want to go back to the main point I said when we were going through it. This is a guy who has tools worth developing. The Beast said that he'll need to improve his leverage, functional strength before he's ready for true NFL snaps. But he's a project worth stashing on the practice squad.
There you go.
That you're looking for, and that's what you're looking for in the 7th round. You're looking for some of these developmental guys that are maybe these diamond in the roughs a little bit.
Yeah, and who knows? He comes in and takes to what Tommy Rees and Kevin Stefanski want to do from an offensive standpoint. Again, the chip on his shoulder, he may come in and surprise a bunch of people. So I love it.
Okay.
We got some depth the offensive line.
Sure do.
We went and got some guys. I think we went and got some people, don't you?
So what do you think? Let's review the whole entire class. You have a defensive tackle in Caden McDonald. You have a cornerback in Davidson Igbinosun. Let's see, who else you got?
We took the wide receiver.
The wide receiver, C.J. Daniels from Miami.
Yep.
And then 7th round, you got Red Murdoch, my boy from Buffalo. Love that guy. And then rounding it out with an offensive tackle, Nolan Rucci.
Yeah, so you got the first 2 guys that I took that are both from Ohio State, ironically enough.
Didn't know that.
I think both those guys, should we be able to secure those 2 guys, are both guys that play opening day. And I'm not just talking in the 3rd phase of the game. I'm talking about on defense and playing that interior the way Caden's going to do, and then the ability for the corner to come up and potentially allow maybe Hughes to slide inside. Some of the versatility you got there, but you love the size on the outside. I think you got potentially 2 plug-and-play guys with the rotation that you're going to do there. The wide receiver, I think the wide receiver fits kind of what you're looking for to fill that slot. Should Drake slide inside of the slot? Do you have another big receiver that can compete for the football on the outside?
Kind of like a clone situation where you're looking at depth and you're like, who can we slot in? Who can literally take every rep right behind Drake London, figure it out, and if anything were to happen, you got somebody.
There you go. And then you got a couple of guys in the back end, one a developmental guy, the big offensive tackle, and then you got the linebacker. Remember, think back to some of the linebackers we drafted late in drafts that have come on to play, the Foye Aluakans and people like that, that have played really good on special teams. The next thing you know, they're playing every down on defense.
100%.
Love it.
All right. Well, that takes it for all of us here at Ticketmaster.
You did good.
Did you like this? Did you like this format?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
It was fun.
All right. If everybody at home likes it too, maybe we'll do it again.
Yeah.
We did it because we don't have a first-round draft pick this year, and so it makes it difficult to know who's even going to be on the board when you're picking.
You picked some great. See, I couldn't really go wrong because Tori was picking guys for me to. It was like I either get a base hit, a double, maybe I hit one out of the ballpark, but I'm on base.
You know, Arch, I knew that this was going to be fun, and I hope everybody at home enjoyed this. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in and watching. We're here until the draft, but make sure and tune in for all of our draft coverage. Arch has. How many position breakdowns are you doing?
We've got 4 or 5 positions we're going to break down.
Okay, yeah. So
we still
make sure
got some stuff coming up for you too.
Yeah, make sure you're following along on our YouTube channel and also AtlantaFalcons.com, where I'll have coverage, and I'm doing a bunch of mock drafts.
Oh
I literally am doing a top 100 right now.
That's her nickname,
mock draft. Mock draft Tori. But thank you guys so much for all of us here at Ticketmaster Studios. Thanks so much.